welcome to the Artist Showcase. I am your host, Tanya Michelle. Wow, it has been, what, a minute since I've been to the studio with you all live. I miss you guys, but I know my shows has been on doing reruns and stuff the last week or so, so I appreciate you joining in with me and tuning in. Again, you're watching the Artist Showcase streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Be sure that you click the like, follow, and share, and be sure that you comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. I have one of my favorite guests. I've interviewed him probably a couple of times on other shows, and I'm so glad he's able to come back to WJZZ. Nick Smith, yes, very well known jazz pianist who is known for all different musical genres such as Latin, rhythm and blues, rock and country. And you might have seen him on the Jay Leno Tonight Show, right? He was part of the Jay Leno Tonight Show band. He scored, many films and TV, and recorded with over 20 artists. Yes. His list is long, right? But we're going to bring him on in just a second. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself, how he got into this industry. I want to learn a little bit about piano, right? I want to learn about the keys and the differences and what's the difference between an organ and a piano, right? I do. I want to know that. And we're going to take a look at his journey a little bit. What's been going on with him, and what he's got some gigs coming up too. He's going to tell us about. Please help me welcome to the Artist Showcase my friend, my favorite guest in the whole wide world, composer, pianist, jazz pianist, I should say, Mr. Nick Smith. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me back. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Yes. My goodness, tell us, who is Nick Smith?
Well, Nick Smith is just another person and another piano player who enjoys life, and I love sharing music with the world, and I enjoy composing music that everyone can appreciate.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about who is one of your greatest influence out there?
Today or just in general?
I would say in music in general, or artists.
Okay, well, if I may say, my parents discovered that I could play the piano when I was 2 years old. And my father, he played an extreme important role of being an influence, because my first jazz concert that I was blessed to go see was the late, great Duke Ellington.
Oh,
and
wow.
I met Duke when I was, how old was I? I probably was about 4 or 5 years old. And I can remember telling him, I can play one of those. I was pointing to the piano, and Mr. and pat me on my shoulder and on top of my head and say, well, young man, if you can play that, you keep practicing, you'll become great. So in my mother's household, there was a lot of different music that I was exposed to at an early age, from jazz to rock, R&B, James Brown, Sly Stone, Jimi Hendrix, Santana. Then my dad would take me around the corner, and he would be playing music from Miles Davis, John Coltrane, and it was just so much information that was coming at me. So now, as far as today, I can say one of my big influences is Mr. Herbie Hancock. What I love about Herbie is his versatility to go in any direction of music. And me and Herbie, I had the pleasure of playing with him one time at a NAMM show. I was upstairs playing these pianos that I would love to get my hands on. This piano entitled the Fazioli, and another great piano was the Ravenscroft. But Herbie playing, and he sat down at the adjoining piano, and we played one of his tunes together. And for him to compliment me the way he did really made me feel great because he told me, "I've seen you, but I didn't know you played like that. You got your own style and your own
Mhm.
sound. I can hear where you've been listening to me, but Paul, Wynton Kelly, um, um, uh, um, Tommy Flanagan. I mean, he named every piano player that I have been studying. He was correct.
Wow.
So, that's a blessing. Another person who's a great influence, and unfortunately he's no longer with us, the late great George Duke, Chick Corea, um, and I mean the list goes on and on. And it depends on one as an individual. What direction do you want to pursue? Because
Right.
to me, I always tell people there's two kinds of music,
Right.
good and bad.
Right. Mhm. That is so true. That is so true. Define to me the difference between. I've always wanted to know this. What is the difference between? I mean, I can hear the difference between the two, but define the difference between smooth jazz and traditional jazz.
Okay, traditional jazz has more substance and creativity.
Mhm.
And when you think back during the days of Charlie Parker, Train, Miles, Monk, all of them guys had a difference as far as their style go.
Mhm.
No one sounded like. And to
Right.
be honest with you, it's like in the words of the late great Miles Davis, jazz was a word that was made up because back then they couldn't understand what black musicians were playing.
Right.
So once they would start going to clubs and listening and they started transcribing it and writing it out, all of a sudden it becomes great.
Right.
But it was understood, it was given a name to try to at first put it down. Now, as far as the smooth jazz go, I'm not a fan of that art form because the word jazz is being misrepresented as
Mm.
far as their music go because it's really nothing but instrumental R&B.
Okay.
And unfortunately, a lot of these musicians who's playing is just to make money. Everyone sounds almost alike. It's
Mm.
like they're they don't want to step outside of a certain box because of the fear, in my opinion, of being rejected. And to
Right.
me, simplicity can be creative,
Mhm.
but do you? We
Right.
already then had certain people. I mean, I'm not Stevie Wonder. I'm not Prince.
Right.
I'm not I'm not Marvin Gaye.
Mhm.
And it really infuriates me when I get called to play and people tell me, "Oh, we're doing a jazz gig," and then the first song on the playlist is something like "People Make the World Go Round" or "What's Going On." I'm
Right.
like, okay, it's R&B. This is not jazz. And
Mhm.
I know jazz is an art form of music. You have to grow up listening to it and be exposed to it. But one should still know the difference. That's like knowing the difference of fruit. You're not going to call a banana an apple and an apple a banana. It's fruit, but there's a difference. You see what
Right.
I mean?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. That that's good. Kind of let us know the difference. Between the two because I know that I can hear it. But I
Right,
needed someone to explain to me. And I grew up listening to or in my household, the Miles Davis and Coltrane. And then
right,
as I got probably in my 20s, I really started to like jazz. But I think back then, when I say in my 20s, I'm talking around like late 80s or early 90s. I started hearing like the smooth jazz,
right.
and it sounded a little bit R&B ish to me, in my
Right.
opinion. And so I like that, and I'm talking like the Najee, right?
Sure.
Those people, and I do like the smooth. I don't know if I can put that. I guess I can put them in smooth jazz, like
Well,
yeah, Najee.
if I may,
But I like it. But then there's another one too that's came out probably early 2000s, and now you're hearing a lot of the younger um, artists that are coming out that's tapping into jazz. They're doing a little bit of the jazz and hip hop a little bit. They're
okay.
doing a little sampling too. What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
Well, if I may say, see, I can remember if artists who wasn't doing more of the commercial type jazz. I can remember when it was called contemporary.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and what was great about that, at least the music still had substance and creativity, and you could hear the influences of those guys playing.
Yeah.
Now, today, excuse me, instead of giving homage to the people where they're getting their styles from, because a lot of these guys, they're playing in the styles. They're trying to play like a Hank Crawford, Maceo Parker, and Junior Walker, and people like that. So give these guys their credit, because they weren't playing traditional bebop, even though they could. They were playing more of a commercial style to make money. So now they've come with this new category, and I'm sort of like, no, just call it instrumental R&B, because a lot of it does not have no jazz influence in it, because it's more of a backbeat and a groove, and it's full of loops. Okay.
Right.
Now you mentioned the hip hop thing. Okay, hip hop it has its own creativity, and I can appreciate it, because that came about because, unfortunately, that generation of kids who came after we did, born in the 70s or in the 80s, they were cheated, because schools, when we had Republicans running the country back in the 80s, when Reagan was running things, he pulled arts and music and sports out of the schools. So them kids got cheated as far as getting the education that we were lucky to get.
Right.
See, when I was growing up, we had bands, we had the orchestra, we had choir, and we would take field trips to go see different forms of music, so we would be aware. Now, it was up to us what our personal choice may be, but kids that I grew up with, even if they didn't play, they know the difference between a saxophone, a trumpet, a bass guitar, a lead guitar, the drums. But a lot of these kids today, when you speak to them pertaining to that, the only thing they're saying, oh man, I just want to make beats. I want to make beats. Well, how are you going to beat if you don't know the components of a drum set? If you can't explain what type of beat you want to play, be it a jazz feel, a backbeat, a Latin feel, what are you going to do?
Right.
So with technology today, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because I look on social media and I see this advertisement of, you can buy this pack of MIDI chords. Well, that's great, but is this pack explaining to you how to use these chords?
Yeah.
That's like me. I'm going to be a mechanic, but I don't know the components of a car. I don't know the difference between an alternator or a battery, a transmission, or some spark plugs or whatever. So how am I going to fix the car?
Right.
So knowledge is very important. So, to combine it together, I think it's great, because look at what Herbie did when he came out with that song Rocket. He put, the hip hop feel, when back then when breakdancing was popular, he put that in his style of music, and it worked. Miles did the same thing later on. So, I mean, we can fuse it all together, but it needs to be a better understanding and a better way of presenting it, versus trying to put everything into one category. You understand what I mean?
Exactly. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. We just got in real deep right at the beginning of the show, right?
Exactly. I loved it.
We got in real deep. We're gonna sit back and relax for just a minute. I know a lot of people are just getting home and from work, had a long week, and you just tuning in. For those who are just tuning in, I have pianist and composer Nick Smith. That's my guest this evening. And so we're going to listen to one of your songs, Nick, Chillin' Mellow. Now is that on the Romance CD?
No, that's on the Influence CDs.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a listen to that. So here is Nick Smith. This is Chillin' Mellow. like that one. I like that one. I like it. I like it. Chillin'
You know,
mellow.
that's
Love
the
it.
version that's like that record. I'm sorry, so we got to clarify that with the audience. That song is like that.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Hmm.
What influenced you to do that song?
You know, it was funny. I went to sleep, and that night I had this dream about Miles Davis, and
Mm.
and when I woke up, it's like I could feel his presence and his spirit.
Mhm.
It, you know, he was like he was sitting in a chair in my room, and he was just looking at me, and
Mm.
he said to me, "Go ahead." And I just went to the keyboard. I got straight up, put on the robe, went into my little studio, and that song came to my mind. And
Wow.
it's just something that made me think of him because when he came out, with his record, Finding the Vernacular, Bitches Brew, he
Mhm.
had so many elements mixed into that.
Yeah.
That's where the influence came from. The bass clarinet, little string orchestration, and it's kind of dark and
Yes.
it's mellow, but it's dark at the same
Mhm.
time.
Mhm. For sure.
And it's got a combination feel. It's got a little backbeat, but it's got a little bit of swing with it as well if you listen to the beat. And that's what I mean about, having a little knowledge of a little everything, and you can use it in various ways.
That's right. That's right. So you guys listen to that. For those who want to get into the jazz business, know your stuff, do your research.
Yes,
You
do
gotta
your
yeah,
work.
do your research. That's for sure. That's for sure. When you look through your journey, um, was there? Tell me a little bit about you. Tell me. Well, let's do this. Tell me a little bit about your journey and what it's been like. I guess from when you first started to now.
Okay. Well, I started in Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I was born and raised.
Okay.
And I used to play a lot of club dates in various situations. Um, Actually, I was playing gigs and I was still in grade school because
Mm,
me and my brother, we had a band together.
okay.
And once I reached my teen years, me and my brother's band it disbanded. So I put my own situation together,
Mm-hmm.
and Cleveland, it had its good moments and everything, but I always wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
And see, a lot of people thought, okay, somebody gonna come here, they might hear you, they may like you, and they're gonna make you a star. No, it doesn't work that way. You got to go where it's happening. And before the
Right.
technology day, Cleveland didn't have the outlet like a California and New York. So after I came out of school, I made up in my mind, okay, I'm gonna either come to the West Coast or I'm gonna go further east and go to New York.
Mm-hmm.
So and getting the pleasure to play with better musicians, older musicians who talked to me and schooled me about certain things. I suggest to all upcoming musicians today, the musical part is very easy, but it's the business that you really have to educate yourself on because you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
so
Mm-hmm.
I can say I'm thankful that I played in various genres. My first professional gig was Roy Ayers. That
Ooh,
that that
one of my
I,
favorites.
I learned quite a bit from him, and
Yeah.
then from there, I got to work with various people like Gene Carn. When I was still living in Cleveland, a lot of these artists would come into town, and when they wanted to put, who they considered to be the best musicians to do the job, a lot of times I would get that call.
Mm-hmm.
Then meeting different musicians who played in situations that I really would have liked to have been a part of, um, we would get together and work together, and then you know meeting different musicians who like I met a gentleman by the name of Myungle Jackson. He's a percussionist and he's played with everyone from Miles, Stevie Wonder, Joe Zawinu. When he heard me play, he suggested I should come out to California, and he was one of the few people who really was a man of his word. And that's another thing in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that glitter is not gold, and because anyone can tell you what you want to hear,
Yeah.
but are they going to really follow through with what they promise they're going to make happen? And unfortunately, during my adventures as a musician, I've gone through that dilemma of people making promises of you know, contributing or going to do things to further my career, and it wasn't nothing but talk. So again, another suggestion I will tell any of you who listening to this: somebody tell you something that sounds good, but your best friend is get it in writing. You get it in writing. If they don't deliver, you got a lawsuit. Because see, you don't want to lose money, make investments. Well, so and so said he gonna do this. Guess what? No one owes you anything because we're everybody's competition, and it shouldn't be that way.
That's
Because
right.
it's sad that a lot of these artists who are established have forgotten someone gave them a chance.
That's right.
No, nobody got to where they got to without someone saying, "Hey, you sound great. I'd like for you to play in my situation," and we can go down the list, and that'd be a conversation that can go on to next week. But
Right.
you know, I'm just
Right.
I'm just giving a little enlightenment. So,
Right.
so I've done the R&B gigs, and I got criticized for doing it, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I did it because it disciplined me. It disciplined me to you got to whatever style of music is, you can be you, but you got to stay within the frame.
Yeah.
One of my first big R&B gigs was Levert, the Sons of the OJs. I
Okay.
did that tour. Then from there, I went with Freddie Jackson, and then from there, I started playing with different contemporary artists like Najee, and the list goes on. And then when I came out here, same thing. Just my first big gig was Brandy. I toured with her. That's back
Okay.
when she was 15, and we went on the Tonight Show. Jay Leno, and I knew the band in Jay Leno on Jay Leno's show, and I sat at the piano. I started playing, and the guitar player he heard me and he said, "Man, you're one of the first cats who've ever played my music." And when they made a change to certain musicians, I got called to do the show, and that was great.
Wow. Oh wow.
Then after that, that's when I started working with Stanley Clark. I worked with him for like 10 years, and worked with him as far as scoring some music for like for Soul Food and a few movies.
Okay.
And uh, he played on my first CD, and I was blessed to have my brother and my friend, Mr. Dennis Chambers, who's a phenomenal drummer who plays with everyone. There's no one he hasn't played with. And so now I worked on two more projects. My second project was Influence,
Okay.
and my last project is Romance.
Okay.
Now I'm getting to work on some new music. My next CD, I'm gonna do another contemporary one. I think I'm gonna call that one Groove City. So
Okay.
just trying to keep it happening. And for this next CD, I had a very good friend of mine. Unfortunately, we lost him back in April. He was a well-known drummer. His name was Isaac Wiley. He used to
Oh
play with. He was
wow.
one of the original founding members of the Daz Band. And
Oh
not
okay.
only was he a great drummer, he was a great writer. So
Mhm.
um, he wrote a song entitled Groove City, and he
Mhm.
wrote another one called Don't Throw It Away.
Mhm.
And when I Don't Throw It Away, it's a beautiful ballad, and it talks about a relationship where, people have their moments, but it's a great thing, and they don't want to let it go. And that's
Yeah.
what we need because a lot of the music that I'm hearing today, the lyrics is just too explicit, and everything is just too sexual and is negative against women. And what
Right.
really makes it bad, the women is writing some of these songs.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
really?
You're right.
I'm like, I'm
Yep.
like,
You're
really?
right.
Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because to me, it's about representation. How you
Yeah.
present yourself is how people want to perceive you. And if
Yeah.
you put yourself there a certain way, you can't get mad if someone look at you a certain way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's it's sad, but that's what they're looking for. In order to to promote them and get them on a label and things like that. It's like either you
Right.
either you have dress or you don't. Is I
Right.
mean, it's just we just so we're in different different times now.
Oh,
And
nothing
nothing
sacred.
is like it used to
Nothing,
be.
nothing is sacred. Everything is out
Yeah,
there. And, and
exactly,
and see,
exactly.
and unfortunately, some of the artists from back then, they sort of set that example. I mean,
Yeah,
I could some names, and I saw some things that was done. I'm like, really, was that necessary?
yeah. Mhm.
You know,
And it's
because
and but that's and it's something that's what they're doing now. It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Romance, romance.
yeah.
Oh my God. Now I'm going to play this song. This is one of my favorites too. I like all of your songs on the romance CD, But this is definitely one of my favorites. Let's see.
Thank you.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? Do I have romance? I don't have romance on. Oh, I didn't bring romance with me. You know, I'm gonna do Feeling Smooth. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
Okay.
do Feeling Smooth.
Which one? On the romance record or on It's Like That?
Um, I believe it's on off the romance.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I hear it. Once I hear it, I'll know.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's off It's Like That. That's off the
It's
first
like
CD.
that. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
What influenced you to do that song?
Well, actually, the version that I recorded on Romance of that song, Feeling Smooth, that's the way I originally recorded it. And
Ah,
I was to myself, I said, you know what? Let me take this song and give it more of a mainstream jazz feel. So I changed it up a little bit. And sometimes we may do that. We may take a song and record it one way, and there's no law that doesn't say you can't do it again, but do
yeah.
it in a different way.
Mhm. Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So I decided to give it more of a straight ahead feel. And the gentleman playing saxophone, oh my God, he is amazing. Dr. Sanchez. He did an excellent job on the record.
Oh yeah. I can hear it too.
Yeah.
For sure. You're watching the Artist Showcase live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Be sure that you click the like button, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. My guest this evening is none other than pianist Nick Smith, jazz pianist. Like I say, jazz pianist, okay? Nick
Okay.
Smith. Yes, yes, yes. He is my guest this evening. I mean, we've been chopping up for the last half hour. I'm telling you, when I interview him, we just really get into it, right? We really get down to knowing about the business, because he's been in it for years. Worked with many artists, been with the Jay Leno Tonight Show band. I mean, he's been around, and so for those who want to become a pianist, even want to get into this industry, this is the show tonight that you want to listen to because he's given some really really good advice. And if you missed the first half hour of the show, of course, you can go back later on tonight or later on in the week and catch that first half. After a couple more questions for Nick Smith, I'm going to have Nick play live for us. I love when he plays live for us. I love it, love it. I don't know what he's going to play. I don't know. He's just going to surprise us, right? I appreciate you so much. Um, one of in your opinion,
Hmm.
what happened to jazz being played on the radio. I mean, we do hear it now as far as it is streaming, but it's not a
Hmm.
whole lot of stations, I would say.
Right.
And
Right.
you do have like we do have like our smooth jazz that's on satellite, and I think there is a station, classical, I believe, and then you have your older traditional jazz like your Miles Davis and your Coltrane's too.
Sure.
But back in the day, especially especially back in the early the 70s and 80s, we had a jazz station, but then this is kind of like they kind of fell off. Before the streaming started. What do you think what happened? Why did it stop playing, or why do you think we don't have too many jazz stations now?
Because the business has changed and the
Mm.
game has changed. And see, back during that time, especially like the jazz festivals and radio stations, you had people who appreciated the music
Mhm.
and they knew a little something about the music.
Mhm.
Now that hands have changed and it's more being handled by business people, the focus is on how much income I can gain. You understand what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so, so unfortunately, um, the focus on making money outshines the quality of the music.
Mhm.
Because like the dilemma that I'm going through as an artist, I've sent music out to different situations to try to participate and hopefully perform in some of these festivals. But a lot of the promoters, first thing they're saying, "Oh, the music is great, but I never heard of them,"
Yeah.
because now it's more of a popularity game. They're going off of how many followers you have on social media,
Yeah.
and you and I know a lot of that is a joke because
Right.
a lot of people. I'm not taking nothing away from their talent, but we both can agree there's a lot of people getting the recognition out here that they know they don't deserve.
Yeah. That's
The
true.
people who can, and the people out here who can really do something, who's trying to do something, we're overlooked. So
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what,
that,
too, Nick? I can say that too about the award shows too, like the
yes,
Grammys and the American Music Awards. They used to, if I can recall, we have jazz performers that would perform live on TV.
right.
Now, maybe I miss it or turn it off or something, but I don't even see the jazz performing on stage at the Grammys and all these a lot of the award shows.
They
And if
don't.
they do win an award or if they do perform, we don't see it here live on
Right.
our end.
You
I
you'll
mean,
hear about.
why is that?
Well, again, like I said, the game has changed, and a lot of the stuff that they're pushing, and especially now, and I don't mean to offend no one, like all this alternative lifestyle stuff,
Mhm.
that's get that's getting more of a priority on award shows than someone who can play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, A don't have nothing to do with B. You
Mm.
understand?
Yeah.
So, and it's to me, it's I'm sorry, it's pathetic and it's sick because it's a negative influence to younger kids coming up who think that's what they have to do to become successful, and they
Yeah.
don't have to do that. And see, we need shows like I remember having Downbeat, where you would see featured jazz performers. I remember when Quincy Jones used to host that show. That was great
Oh
because
yeah.
you would
Mhm.
see Dizzy Gillespie, you would see Miles, you would see Art Blakey. You don't
Yeah.
have nothing like that today.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's that's sad. That's really sad.
You know,
Nick,
and
what are you gonna play for us today?
um, good question. Well, you know what? For you, I know you like that song Caribbean, so I'll play that
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
this is off is like that, and I'm gonna play this song for the beautiful and wonderful Miss Tanya.
Ah, thank you. yes. I love it, Nick. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Love it. Nick Smith, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, for you, my pleasure, always.
Yes. Real quick, we just got a few more minutes. I always wanted to ask this question. What is the difference between the organ and, well, I guess they're all in the same family. Is there a difference in like the organ and a piano, or is it, what is, I guess, what is the difference? I know they sound different and they're in the same family, but what is really what's the difference?
Well, the difference is one is acoustic and the other one is electronics. Okay.
Okay.
So you need electricity to play an organ.
Okay.
And the piano is an acoustic instrument, and all you need is a human to play. And
okay.
both are keyboards, but there's a difference in the sound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the difference in it. Yeah, it's in the keyboard piano family, but one is electronic and one is acoustic. That's the difference.
Okay, and I didn't even know the organ was electronic. I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, you have to plug it in and it's run through a listening speaker.
Okay.
So the piano, you can mic it, or you know, if the hall is big enough, and depending on what type of piano you're playing, of course, a grand piano, you open the lid, the sound will carry. An organ, if it's not turned on, you will get nothing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see. That's something new. I didn't know that about the organ. That's something new.
Yeah. And see, way back in the day, before the electronics came out and became popular, that was the main keyboard that jazz musicians were using. I mean, Jimmy Smith, he played the organ. Jack McDuff, Jimmy McGriff. Now these guys were piano players, but Jimmy Smith really made the organ famous. Then later on, the Fender Rhodes came out, and that sound, oh my God, everybody fell in love with that sound. And it was huge in the 70s and part of the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the difference: electronics and acoustic.
Okay.
So,
all right. I see everybody see now for those who want to play the piano, and now you know the difference, right? You have a few shows coming up. Really quick. Where are you going to be playing next?
Well, I'm sorry to inform those two shows I was scheduled to play next week. I was going to be performing at the Tin Pan, okay, in Virginia, and I was supposed to play at the Keystone Corner. But unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, we had to postpone. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to reschedule in December. So December 20th, we're going to do the Keystone, and I'm just waiting for the confirmation for the Tin Pan. And if I have a moment, I would love to please announce who's going to be performing. So any of you who are in the area, Virginia or Baltimore, tell your friends, and please come on out and enjoy some great music. Playing drums with me is going to be the amazing Dennis Chambers. For those of you who know him, he's played with Santana, Special Effects, John Schofield, and he used to be the drummer with the Parliament Funkadelics. But the man, he's just amazing. Okay? On bass, my good brother and friend, Mr. Kenny Davis, another former band member of the Tonight Show. He's played with Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, and the list goes on. Eddie Allen on trumpet, Mr. Roger Byam on saxophone, Mr. Landis Butch Pearson on percussion, and my brother, Mr. Jeff Robinson on vocals. Now, that gentleman, for those of you who heard the Romance record, that's him singing 1999.
Oh, okay. All right. There you go. You got your list. It's gonna be a great show. I'm definitely gonna try to catch you guys the next time. That you gotta come to Detroit though.
Well, you know what? If you know a venue or a place that would really appreciate this type of music, and we can take care of the business, send me the information, and we would love to come if everyone is available.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, WJZZ, we're always having events and jazz events too. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do that because we need for you to come down to Detroit.
I want to do that, and definitely, you know, you got to be my guest. Okay?
For sure. Nick, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, Nick Smith Music. That's K-N-I-C-K, Smith Music. I'm on Facebook, and I'm also on Twitter.
Okay. All right.
Facebook, quite a few accounts. So you'll find one with the spelling of N-I-C-K, and you'll find my other one, K-N-I-C-K, okay? And you see a picture of me sitting at the piano.
Yes. Nice looking young man, too. I must say.
Well, I'm a gorgeous queen, so I'm honored. And I'm blessed.
You know, I'm going to, before we go, I got probably maybe 1 minute. I'm going to walk us out with one of your other songs, Caribbean. I love it. And I'm going to play that because I'm headed to Miami Beach next week. So, guys, I will not be here live in the studio on next Friday. It's time for me to relax under the sun. It's a long time coming. I need to kind of relax a little bit and enjoy myself. It's been some time. So I'm going to walk us out with Caribbean. And Nick, thank you so much for joining us. You've got to come back on the show again. I would love to have you. And yes, we definitely have to get you out here too. I know a couple of people too I can give you their numbers, and we can make that happen.
And please, if I may mention, if anyone who's listening want to purchase my music, I'm on Spotify and I'm on iTunes. And I'm getting ready to set it up where if you want to purchase the CDs directly from me, I'm going to set that up so I can send it directly to you. And if you like, I'll autograph it, and I'll also send an autograph photo. Okay?
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Nick, for coming on to WJZZ, the Artist Showcase. Love to have you next time. Please make sure that you come back. Everyone, I'm going to walk us out. Again, thank you for tuning in to WJZZ Cool TV. I'm your host, Tanya Michelle of the Artist Showcase. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next Friday.
And one more thing, Tanya, before you go, if I may say, those who tickets for the Keystone, please keep your ticket because it will be honored for the new date unless you just want to get a refund. But other than that, please don't think you took your money. We look forward to seeing you, and we definitely want to give you a great show.
Oh, yes, definitely want to hang on to those tickets, everyone. Make sure you hang on to those tickets. Yes, because you don't want to miss that show.
So I want to say all the best to everyone and have a fabulous weekend. Thank you, Tanya. Sending love to you always.
Thank you.